is reimbursable. If they pass the test, that's a good thing. If we have this committee, if we put together this process, how much is the town willing to do? What, if anything, is the town willing to do to encourage and reward certifications? I heard the risk that someone will get money and get certified, they leave the town. That's life. There's nothing you can do that. You can't avoid that risk. It's going to happen. Train and certify our people. And, you know, if people are leaving our town, what are the chances that we're getting certified? I heard someone from Vermont move into town with the right level of certification. So we can't avoid the risk of we pay for someone to get training and certification and then their life changes and they leave us. That we can't fix. So those are the big questions to me. What's the right level? What's the right mix of certifications? And what are the things, if anything, can the town do to encourage and reward our people to get those certifications? The other really tough part is, do we have the right chief? And I, for one, love the idea of there's only one group in here that can answer that question, and that's the members of the fire department themselves. I love the process of they vote and then make a recommendation to the select board. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. For us in the town, who may or may not know the people themselves, to try to dictate to the department who their chief is, that doesn't make sense to me. They're not going to have trust and confidence.
Thank you. Joanne?
I'm not telling you.
No?
Joanne Irving, Mountain View Drive. Again, in my research, I contacted New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs Incorporated. The New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs has developed accreditation, you know the word, program, and is taking a member of the NHAFC in good standing. Additional requirements are candidates must hold the rank of captain or higher for a minimum of 1 year at the time of application submittable. This is taking life experience and what diplomas you have, and it's a challenging test, and then they accreditate you for the requirements that you're seeking to be a chief. And it goes on, but my phone only copied so much of it. But Mark meets most of it, and I'm sure if he was still here, he could speak to this.
Can you just tell me again what the standards are for?
I'm pretty sure he's already spoke with these people and that is in the works, but I'll leave that decision or that comment to him. Thank you.
Thanks so much, but, so that firefighter association, chiefs association is that Fire Chiefs Association is a sorority of the chiefs of New Hampshire, so it has nothing to do with what we do at our level. It's chiefs or people in different positions who join this sorority, basically. It's an association to raise money for a lot of the other fire departments throughout the state, and they have officers of other sizes that all step up through those ranks. I looked at the same thing, looking for the qualifications of a chief, and it went off into their whole association and something totally different than what we're dealing with. It's similar to us having our association in the department. It's a fundraising and working for the community of the state.
May I?
We'll let him finish his.
I wish Mark was here, but we've had some issues with leadership and knowledge as a leader. For instance, taking a fire engine to an out-of-town call in Andover by himself, and a fire engine with only a driver is little to no use. He stated, "Oh, I got a truck out." Well, that's great. You didn't have any manpower to actually do anything. you need to have manpower on a truck for it to leave town. It didn't, it was a waste of fuel and tires.
We're not, if we want to get into this, we can start, we'll ask you questions about your behavior too. This is about how are we moving forward.
Okay, so moving forward, we need to have leadership and knowledge of how to be a leader. So the only way I can give examples or fix a lot of that is show what has happened in the recent. I have a picture of the chief and a select board walking under wires at a guy wire down, which was not a guy wire, it was actually trees on the wires. It's like, come on, this is not safe. This is bad decisions. So this is my point. We need to make the proper decisions as a chief officer, as a lieutenant, as whatever. We need to have the knowledge and do the safe things. So I'm not trying to do his character. I'm trying to do the fact that, or doing against his character, it's the fact that we have to have the knowledge. Mark is an excellent firefighter, but he needs to have the knowledge to be a leader, and it just wasn't there, isn't there. So again, I'm not trying to belittle him, I'm just stating the facts that we need to get the training. That's why we do the training. I appreciate the state doesn't have any standard stating you have to, but we all do it. We've all taken these classes for the last 35 years to be better leaders. And that's my goal, and that's why I'm still taking classes constantly. Between FEMA, Health and Human Services, the fire service, the leadership services, I've got all kinds of classes I'm constantly taking, trying to be better. And that's what it takes. We can't take classes back in the 70s, which, by the way, his stuff should have been recorded if he actually did it. It was not, because it wasn't being recorded by them. It was some kind of a grandfathering thing that doesn't happen. But my point is, we need to continue with updating our training, and we all have to. Just because we were certified back in 1980-something means we need to keep training and working on that, and we don't.
So just, in fairness, I've been questioning Mark so far. What happened in your last year with all this leadership, and we had a lot of hate and discontent?
So, we can get into that, and this is going to go in the wrong direction. I put him on as deputy because he was a friend of mine and I thought he was beside me and would work with me. As that year progressed, I asked certain things to be done. He was taking on the project with the kids from the Prospect School, doing a lot of great work there. I asked for certain things to be built a certain way in that building and design. Every time I'd come back, he had done it another way. Come to find out, he was talking behind my back saying, oh, I'm not going to do it his way, I'm going to do it my way, and laughing. This was funny to him. Then, next thing I find out, which I did, unbeknownst to me, all of a sudden I got guys getting pissed off at me. Why? I finally got the rest of the story. He was filling them with non-truths, telling them things that I was going to do, telling them the things that I was going to do to their jobs, and I had no idea.
Is this the place for this?
No.
You asked the question.
Yes.
You asked the question. This is where it went. We then had that meeting with you folks. And every time I tried to speak, I was walked on. It's just the manner of the person. I was tired of being walked on. I said, you know what? I'm a better firefighter, better EMT at this moment. I'm going to continue taking care of my community. I got in this position to make our community better, to get everybody to work together, work with other departments, make it a family community again. Everybody's been stuck up on the hill, and let's have some events and do some things. That was my plan and goal. And I kept getting pushed out of that. It got very frustrating. And I'm going to continue doing that from other angles if I have to. But this community needs to come together. We're a great little community. Apparently that's time up. But does that answer your question?
Yes.
Well, Marshall Bennett, Addison Road, everybody can
Mark,
hear me.
can you approach, I'm sorry. Marshall, can you approach the,
Marshall.
They're gonna spoke loud enough. I just want to clear up a couple of things.
Who are you?
Who am I? Marshall Bennett, Addison Road, you hear me? Okay. So, what they're talking about with the EMTs, right? They're all run off for a call. That's where all the fire department guys, but just in case anybody was wondering. So, what Natalie was talking about with Bristol's ambulance being out, those guys are out on a call. We're waiting for somebody else to come to Bristol and grab another ambulance. That's not necessarily true. We can get an ambulance out of New Hampton, or we can get an ambulance out of Franklin, right off the bat, if we know Bristol's already out on a call. So there's not some extra 10, 15 minute worth of wait time. The other thing I want to clear up too is that it doesn't matter if we have 12 EMTs here in town. Everybody on the fire department all has another job. So if a call comes in at 11 o'clock in the morning, doesn't matter how many EMTs we have, we're probably going to rely on Bristol regardless, because we're all at work. Granted, if I'm in the area, yeah, I may go help with a call out on 3A or Murray Hill, one of the roads that I help take care of, but I can't dedicate myself to another call in town that doesn't have to do with my job also. So, and I just think, one other thing I wanted to clear up is we were talking about this committee that we did to hire the police chief. I understand why we did that, but the police chief's job is a full-time, 40-hour-a-week job. The fire chief's position is something totally different. I think you're comparing apples and oranges.
Thank you. Thank you, Marshall.
Dave Joyce, Mountain View Drive. I've been in town 20 years. Grew up in Boston. My dad's going to be 85 next Tuesday. He lives in the same house that he bought in 1962 in Walpole, Mass. He pays almost $18,000 in taxes in Walpole, Mass. So, my understanding, if the chief needs to be certified, if he needs fire one, give him 6 months. You guys are the selectmen. Say, hey, you have 6 months to get certified, if that's what it's truly about, his certification. So all the EMTs, it sounds like we have lots of very good qualified people and dedicated people. The key word in our fire department is the very first one, volunteer. So, like Marshall just said, if everybody's working, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, you're waiting anyway. So, but my expectations living in town are not that I'm getting the same services that I'm getting in Concord, same services I'm getting down in Massachusetts for paying this big money. You live in a small town with 1,000 people in it. So even if an EMT does show up at your house and you need to be transported, are we not waiting for an ambulance from another town to transport you anyway? So that's $66,000. And so unless we buy an ambulance and put somebody on full time, and an ambulance is probably $1 million nowadays. And then you're gonna look for full-time staff to go with it, so that when a call does come in, that somebody can jump in and go to your house. It's not gonna happen in this town. It's not big enough.